The party was already loud when I arrived, the kind of chaos only a house packed with 40 people could generate. Adults laughing over wine in the kitchen, kids running through the hallway with frosting on their fingers, and music thumping lightly in the background. I had driven 2 hours with a carefully wrapped box in the passenger seat, an $850 smartphone for my niece Sophie, 13 today, bright, curious, and the apple of my eye, or so I had thought. I had skipped work for this. I had tightened my already stretched budget to afford the gift because she had begged for it for months, and I wanted to be the one to put that kind of sparkle in her eyes. I always had a soft spot for her. Ever since my sister and her husband divorced, I'd been more present in her life than ever. School pickups, birthday planning, math homework, late-night phone calls when she was feeling invisible. So when I entered with the box under my arm and her face lit up, I felt proud. Like maybe I mattered in her world. "You really came," she squealed, running up and hugging me. Of course, I smiled. Wouldn't miss it. Everyone gathered when she opened the gift, her small fingers working quickly through the paper. She gasped when she saw the box inside. "Oh my God, is this the?" she asked, turning it over, then yanking it out with such joy my chest ached with it. And then just as quickly came the twist. She turned to the room, held up the phone like a trophy, and with a mischievous grin said, "Dad says if you disappeared tomorrow, no one would notice." There was a beat of silence, half a second where I think even the walls held their breath. Then came the laughter. Loud. Full-throated. Everyone in the room, from my sister to distant cousins, laughed. Some doubled over. One person clapped. I didn't. I just stood there, frozen, while my ears rang and my skin prickled. I tried to convince myself she didn't understand what she was saying, that it was a joke, something she didn't mean. But the words echoed in my head in a loop I couldn't shut off. If you disappeared tomorrow, no one would notice. I looked at my sister, Lisa. She wasn't laughing anymore, but she wasn't saying anything either. Her smile was tight, her eyes avoiding mine. My brother-in-law, seated on the couch with a beer in hand, shrugged and muttered, "She just jokes around too much." But it wasn't just a joke. It was something she had heard from him, her father. A sentiment he had voiced behind my back. To his daughter. About me. I swallowed hard and smiled barely. "That was funny," I said, trying to hide the way my hands were shaking. Sophie didn't notice. She was already turning the phone over in her hands, excitedly peeling away plastic and unlocking the screen. No thank you. No hug. No acknowledgement that I had just spent nearly $1,000 trying to make her birthday special. I walked outside. No one followed. I stood on the porch, breathing in the cool air, trying to steady the ache in my chest. I hadn't realized how invisible I had already become. How easy it was for the people I'd shown up for, again and again, to turn me into a punchline. And the worst part? I couldn't even be angry at Sophie. She was 13. She just repeated what she heard. The betrayal didn't start with her. It started with Lisa. With all the years I helped raise her daughter while she juggled jobs and breakups, while she leaned on me to be the reliable one. I was the one they called when the car wouldn't start, when they needed help moving, when Christmas came and the gifts from Santa were mysteriously paid for with my credit card. And yet in private they laughed about me, dismissed me, made me a joke in the eyes of a child who once called me her favorite person. Later that night, I slipped away without saying goodbye. No one stopped me. No one asked where I went. I cried the whole drive home. Not for the phone. Not even for the money. But because I realized how conditional their love had always been. I was only valuable as long as I was useful. As long as I played the role of the quiet, generous one who never expected anything in return. The next morning, I turned off my phone. I needed silence. Space. By the end of the week, Lisa texted me, "You okay?" Sophie didn't mean it like that. I didn't answer. A few days later, "Can you help pick her up from school next week?" My shift changed. I still didn't answer. The third message came a week later. "You're really gonna ghost us over a joke?" And then I realized they still didn't get it. It wasn't about a joke. It was about being erased in front of everyone I'd poured love and time into, and having no one stand up for me. It was about being the butt of the joke when I should have been the guest of honor. It was about being shown, in the most humiliating way, that my presence had never been valued, just exploited. I started therapy. I stopped saying yes to everyone. I started writing again, reading more, sleeping better. They kept reaching out for a few more months, less and less frequently. Eventually, the texts slowed. The calls stopped. Sophie messaged me once, almost 6 months later. I miss you. I'm sorry. I stared at that message for a long time. Maybe I'll answer one day. Maybe not. But I've learned something since that party. Silence is its own kind of answer. And disappearing doesn't mean you don't matter. Sometimes it just means you finally chose yourself. And maybe for once, that's enough.